identify opportunities in the stock market. And we have a really interesting webinar today. We're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about the last forecast that we had, and we're going to see what the algorithm thinks about the market, about the best sectors to be in the following weeks and months. And we're going to talk about a lot of interesting stuff about the stock market today. So you better stay tuned. And of course, in the end of each and every webinar, we're going to show the forecast for the next month for the best, for all the indices and best sectors. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to ask us through the Q&A option that you have in your Zoom, and we'll try to answer as much as questions that we can. And we're going to start in 2 more minutes. We still see some people joining, so we'll be right back and start with the webinar.
Meanwhile, we are approaching the end of 2025 almost. Please use the Q&A to tell us, which stocks are you monitoring right now? What is the most relevant sectors in your opinion as we're approaching to the end of the year? And we will try actually to address and to talk about the stocks that you're going to mention in the Q&A window.
And of course, before we're going to start, a quick disclaimer. I know first does not provide personal investment or financial advice. Nothing presented in this webinar constitute a recommendation to buy or sell any security or to use any specific investment strategy. All investments carry risk, including possible loss of capital. Always consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions, of course. And let me share our screen. Yeah, I think we can start.
Yeah, I see many people here are focusing on the Bitcoin and gold right now. I see questions about Meta. Interesting.
All right. You can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, guys, so let's start. You're on.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Okay. Let's start the webinar. Today we have prepared a super interesting webinar. We are going to discuss the most interesting sectors, stocks, industries as we're approaching the end of the year. We are going to share several live predictions during this webinar. Some of the predictions are pretty updated. However, please don't take it as an investment advice. And we are going to focus on this webinar also in the different indicators that the AI algorithm is generating on a daily basis. And we are also going to open some forecast and to analyze it with you live here during this webinar. I will start with a quick overview before we jumping to the market. I know first, we are an AI company. Our main solution is a predictive algorithm that identifying the most promising investment opportunities every day. Every day, the AI algorithm is generating daily forecasts for the market, and then creating a ranking in order to identify the most promising investment opportunities. We are utilizing different AI approaches, deep learning, artificial neural networks, genetic algorithms. Our predictive algorithm is generating daily forecasts for over 13,500 assets from different asset classes, equities, ETFs, indices, commodities, currencies, with daily forecasts for multiple timeframes, short-term, mid-term, and also long-term. It's a global solution. We are covering over 50 global stock exchanges, including the stock exchanges in the US, Europe, Asia, including Japan, India, China, Hong Kong, and more. And let's jump directly to the market. What do we see here, Ben?
Yeah, we're seeing a forecast from Friday. This is an aggressive stocks forecast. We're going to talk about later what is all those square and all those numbers, but just to give you a quick taste from the algorithm abilities, we're seeing two stocks that was recommended for 14 days time frame from the November 14, CMCT and CENS. And we can see those stocks actually jumped by 36% and 1%, while in the bottom, in the short position, we had APLT that actually was in the short side of the table, and it went down by almost 20%. This is the performance of just one day of trading, and we're talking about Friday. It was sent to our clients before the trading starts. And this is a quick examples of the algorithm abilities. Another one is for a short term, for 3 days time frame, as we can see here. We see stocks that went up, such as CONN, IOVA, VKTX, and the three stocks that were in the bottom, such as SMR and AIRS, went down by 3 and 4.5%. And we can see that the algorithm can actually identify in any given market opportunities for long and opportunities for short. And we're going to talk about it later on this webinar, but just to give you a short glimpse of for the algorithm abilities, that was a quick examples.
Yeah, what's interesting here, we see the correlation between the signal strength and the movement of the different stocks and the different equities that we see here. Right, Ben?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the numbers, about the signals and the predictability in a few more minutes. Also interesting to see a lot of biotech companies such as SONN and IOVA and SENS actually that jumped on Friday, and we're going to talk about that as well later on.
Right. Okay. So before talking about the markets, we are experiencing some volatility in the recent week in the market. So we're going to discuss it as well in this webinar and to see what is the updated forecast of the AI algorithm going forward. Before that, let's start by introducing the InnoFirst team. The InnoFirst predictive algorithm was developed by the InnoFirst R&D team that's being led by Dr. Lipa Reutemann from the Weizmann Institute of Science, one of the leading experts in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and chaotic systems from the Weizmann Institute of Science. Dr. Reutemann is leading our R&D team that includes PhDs, AI and machine learning experts. We have math professors as part of the core R&D team, as well as employees with the background of data science, computer science, math, statistics, and also IDF veterans, specifically from the intelligence unit. My name is Yaron Golger. I'm the CEO and co-founder of I Know First. I'm also the chairman of the FinTech board in the Israeli Export Institute. I'm lecturing for FinTech at one of the leading universities here in Israel. I'm an engineer with EMBA from the Ben Gurion University. Ben?
Yeah, I'm a financial advisor. Used to work in one of the largest banks here in Israel for several years, and now I'm the head of advisory here in I Know.
Okay, and Ben going to lead today's webinar, and we have several surprises, so stay tuned until the end of this webinar. So the I Know First predictive algorithm is being trusted by the world's leading hedge funds, investment houses, banks, family offices, as well as high net worth individuals and retail clients from all over the world. In this list, you can find leading banks, leading hedge funds, leading investment houses. With some of them, we have developed several products, financial vehicles that utilizing our technology. For some of the funds here, we are also managing funds by using the systematic trading strategies that we have developed, and we are going to talk about some new strategies today in this webinar in order to introduce this solution to you as well. The solution that you're about to see has received several awards, including from Entity Data in Japan, UBS, the Geneva Wealth Tech Forum as the best international wealth tech solution. And it's important to say, we are doing that since 2025. We started I Know First more than 10 years ago. We were pioneers in the field of artificial intelligence, and we are really proud to be the first actually in this field.
2015, you mean, not 2015?
2015. Oh, I said 2025. Yeah, you look young, so you confused me, Ben. Okay, here you can see several photos from those award ceremonies. And we are starting our 4th year already in one of the leading university in Israel, the Reichman University. We are really proud to deliver different courses around fintech and around artificial intelligence. In our website, you can find different articles and that were published in the media about I Know First, different TV reports as well. So feel free to go over those articles. Last week we came back from Hong Kong. We were part of AI forum there, and we had a booth there, and it was great to meet so many institutional clients and also retail clients that came to visit us in our booth. In the website, you can find several clients reviews that can help you to find the package or the solution that might be relevant for your needs, basically.
And of course, feel free to join our WhatsApp group community, our growing community. We always post up a future forecast, some AI articles, and whatever is trending in the market. So just scan the QR code and join our WhatsApp community, and feel free to do so. We got some interesting forecasts there, almost on a daily basis.
Right. Okay, so what do? We are providing two solutions to our clients. On one hand, it's possible to utilize the AI algorithm in order to identify opportunities on a daily basis. It could be long-term opportunities, mid-term opportunities, or even short-term opportunities. We are sending daily forecasts based on our AI algorithm, and those forecasts include the most promising stock opportunities based on your preference. So you can choose whether you would like to get opportunities from the entire US market, for instance, or to focus on specific sector and then to create a drill down on the sector. And today, during this webinar, again, we are going to showcase several examples, and we are going even to open one forecast with you and create and do the selection together with you. And on top of that, we have developed several systematic trading strategies that utilizing the very same technology in order to build a portfolio and also to manage it on a systematic way with a monthly rebalancing. And today we are going to introduce a new strategy that actually might be relevant to institutional clients as well. A Dino-first predictive algorithm includes 3 components. By using the first component, it's possible to identify on a daily basis opportunities in the market. By using the second component, it's possible to receive on a daily basis basically stock market intelligence, to identify leading sectors, to identify leading regions around the globe, to identify the direction of the main indices, the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones, which index we should focus on. And also, the AI can provide us an insights which basically sectors are the weakest ones, as well as the regions across the world that we should avoid. And the third component is providing us customized forecast based on each client portfolio. The AI is analyzing your basically portfolio. You can send the portfolio to the AI, and then the AI is creating you a customized forecast for the short, mid, long term based on your specific portfolio. And basically by combining those 3 components, you can optimize your investment portfolio, basically.
So on a daily basis, the algorithm is actually can tell me if I should sell or hold or even buy my holdings at the portfolio on a daily basis. So that's a very good monitoring tool for any investor.
Exactly. So how we do it, it's not magic, it's science, actually. The AI algorithm is collecting quantitative data sets that's coming from the entire financial market. We are collecting data that's coming from the interest rate market, from the commodities market, from the different equity market that we are monitoring, the currency market, even the cryptocurrency market. We are adding all those quantitative data sets to our historical database. We are managing an historical database with historical data, and around the clock, the algorithm is learning from the new data that's coming from the market, and learning from the historical data, and also from the combined data. And on a daily basis, the AI algorithm is building the complex network that exists in the financial market. In the financial market, there are thousands of correlation sets, and the AI algorithm is able basically to build this complex network on a daily basis without any human intervention. And you are receiving the bottom line of this complex process, very clear bottom line with the best opportunities for the short term, mid-term, and also long term. And it's basically, you are going to receive this feed or this forecast on a daily basis, every day before the market opening. When you're opening your computer in the morning, you are going to receive a map of opportunities for the different time frames, short term, mid-term, and also long term.
All right, so I see there's some questions from the crowd. And first of all, we can see your questions. David, the one that asked us if you can see the questions in the Q&A, we can see, and we'll try to answer them through the webinar. And some ask which kind of quantitative data we are using for the algorithm, which kind of data the algorithm actually is taking from the market.
So basically, we are utilizing quantitative data that's coming from different asset classes, over 50 global stock exchanges, including stocks, volumes, interest rate data, data that's coming from the commodities market, data that's coming from the currency market, basically different data sets, but all the data sets are quantitative data sets. We are not using any data that's coming, any fundamental data, because it's basically representing the last quarter, and we need something that is more updated than that. We are not using data that's coming from the social media, for example. We are trying to rely on the most objective data sets that are out there, basically. And the secret sauce, or the most interesting process, is in the middle, in the process that we are doing in order to build the relationship between the different assets that are in the financial market. There are thousands of correlation sets. Most of the correlation sets cannot be defined by the human or human analyst. And here we are using the AI algorithm in order to build this network of network of correlation sets, and to define this correlation set without any human intervention, or without any basically definition that's coming from humans. Everything is done by the machine. Everything is done by the AI, basically. Now, we are combining different AI methods into one predictive algorithm. We are utilizing deep learning, artificial neural network, genetic algorithms, reinforcement learning. And the goal of this learning process is basically to separate the unpredictable part of the market and to focus on the predictable part. Not everything is predictable in the market. But the most interesting thing is that the AI is able to say what is predictable today, and to separate the unpredictable part and to focus on the most predictable assets. For instance, from the S&P 500 universe, or the Russell 1000, or the S&P 100 universe. So all the examples that we are going to see here, and also all the strategies, are coming from this universe, the most predictable assets that our algorithm managed to basically separate from the noise.
All right, so let's talk about how to read the daily forecast. And we have an example here. We can see that the forecast comes in the shape of a heat map. The green cells, represent a long position, while the red cells represent short positions. And we can see the time frame that of this specific forecast is referring to. In this case, we're seeing a 1 month time frame, which means those are the stocks that's supposed to go up in this time frame that we see here in 1 month. And for getting the best opportunities, we are using two indicators. The first one is the signal. The signal is the number that you see in the middle of each and every square. For example, in NVIDIA, the signal is 1.32. And it means that NVIDIA, among all of the assets that we see here, is the asset that has the most potential to move up, or to go up among the other stocks that in this table. It's the biggest signal is located on the left top corner of each and every table, and it goes down to the right until the most negative signal that we see here in the bottom right of the table which means that this stocks, wolf in this example, supposed to go down in the strongest way. The signal is actually ranking our entire investment universe, and it covers more than 13,000 assets around the globe. And that's in that way we can see which regions and states and even sectors has the highest signals. And of course, we can drill down into single stocks and get the best opportunity actually globally on a daily basis. So the signal is actually ranking the entire investment universe from the asset that's supposed to go up in the most strongest way, that is again located on the top left corner of the table. And the other indicator that we use is the predictability indicator, which is located on the left bottom corner of each and every square. In this example of NVIDIA, we can see 0.46. This number is in Pearson correlation measurement, and it actually moves from 0 to 1. 0 represents 50% probability that the asset will move to the predicted direction, while 1 represents 100%. So if we have, for example, 0.5, it means that the probability of this asset to move is 75%. To sum it up, we will look for the highest values in the signal and in the predictabilities. The higher the values are, the better is the predictability and the strongest is the signal. So in each and every forecast, we'll try to focus on the highest predictability level. And we'll see a few examples from even the last few days in a minute, just to show you how exactly the forecast look like on a daily basis before the trading starts. You get the forecast to your email, and you can find the best opportunities, 10 best opportunities to each and every time frame. That's right, you're getting a daily forecast for 6 time frames. In each and every time frame, you have the best 10 stocks for long and 10 stocks, or maybe less, for short. It's of course on the situation of the market. If the market is more volatile, you will see more short position. So you'll get 6 time frames with the best opportunities for long and short. And this is how basically the forecast looks like. All the package that you're gonna see in this webinar are basically look like that, with 10 stocks to buy and 10 stocks to short or sell. And let's see a few examples from the recent weeks and days. So what do we see here? You can see a forecast that was generated on November 7th. We can see it on the top of the forecast of the table. This is a 3 days forecast, which means from the 7th of November, the algorithm finds us the best stocks to buy for a period of 3 days. To the right, we can see the performance of those stocks. We can see that the stock, for example, the U stock that is located on the top left corner with the strongest signal, actually jumped by 8% in that time frame of 3 days. We can see another stock, MU, for example, Micron Technology, that also jumped by 6.2% in those 3 days. And we can see the other stocks that was in this forecast in a 3 days performance. While we sum up the average of those stocks of this package is actually on 4.22%, while the S&P in the same time went up by 1.6%. So the performance, the average performance of this specific forecast was 4.2, while the S&P is 1.67, and this is more than 300% than the S&P itself. So that's really impressive for a 3 days time frame. We can also check the 7 days.
By the way, it's interesting to see in the previous forecast to see actually two names that are very, very interesting. They've been in the news recently. The first one is Snapchat that managed to make such a strong movement. And the second one is Google. We see here Google twice, basically. Google and GOOGL as well. Actually, during the weekend, we heard that Warren Buffett started to build a position in both in Google stock, and it's interesting to see that the AI algorithm saw it actually weeks ago. We see it this week, but it's happened also. I think for the last quarter, I see very positive predictions for Google. By the way, same goes with Micron Technology as well.
Yes, that's true. And if we'll jump into the 7 days forecast, we can find some other stocks from different investment universe. For example, we can see IRWD, Ironwood Pharmaceuticals, that actually jumped by 66% in this specific week from the 5th of November until the 12th of November. And we can also find BKD, for example, Brookhill Senior Living, which actually jumped by 14% in this 2 weeks time frame. This forecast average was 10.3%, while the S&P again moved around 1%. And the algorithm is locating the best stocks, the best opportunities from different investment universe. And it's interesting to see his choices. We can also see here, by the way, some of the stocks didn't went to the right direction. When we saw this little X next to the stocks, it means that the stock didn't went to the right direction. So it's not like 100% working all the time. Of course, there are some mistakes, but the algorithm is learning from his own mistake and getting better and better in each and every time. So we can see this example of 7 days and even 14 days. This is from the 27th of October. We can see stocks such as MU, Form Factor, again, semiconductor chip testing equipment, which by the way is being used by all the largest chips manufacturer, the semiconductors manufacturer. The majority of them use Form, and we see the specific stock jumped by 24% in a 2 weeks time frame. We can see Amat, we can see COHR, also a laser technology company, Current Corp, that actually being used by Apple Face ID. So we see a lot of companies from different universe, and we can see that while the S&P didn't actually quite move in this time frame, like 0.6%, this forecast has provided us around 9.3% return in a period of 2 weeks. And another interesting thing that we can notice that if we are going for a longer time frames, we can see that the signal and the predictability is actually getting higher and higher. I remind you, the signal is the number that is inside those squares, in the middle of the squares, while the predictability is the one that's located on the bottom left corner of each and every square. So for this example, the strongest signal, actually belongs to GEOS, while the strongest predictability is actually for GE that we can see here, 0.5%. This is a really good predictability for 1 month, and we can see that these stocks went up by 6%. So we have an interesting stock here from the energy universe that is also looks quite interesting in the last few weeks, and we're going to talk about it later on in our webinar, which sectors the algorithm thinks that are going to be the best for the next month. So stay tuned to the end of this webinar that we're gonna expose and actually show the algorithm forecast for the next month. If you want to trade for a longer time frames, over 3 months, for example, we have a 3 months forecast. You get all the time frames in each and every forecast. So if you're a more of a swing trader, a long time frame trader, you can use those time frames. We have the Shop and Palantir here, for example, Wolf, and many other stocks that actually performed pretty good. Wolf, of course, with the crazy jump of almost 190%. Of course, the TeraWulf is the one of the clean energy Bitcoin mining company that got pretty trendy in the last few months. And the same goes with BITF. So we can see a variety of stocks from different universe that the algorithm picks for. This is a more volatile universe, and we can see that this performance of 58% in 3 months is really impressive, while the S&P did around 7%.
It's a very good example, actually, that illustrating why it's important to focus on the most predictable assets. If we're taking this prediction, we can see that the stock with the highest predictability are basically PH, Wolf, as you mentioned, BITF, TSM as well. And we can see that the strategy that actually focusing on the most predictable stocks in this universe could be very efficient. Also, another interesting thing, we see that the I know first predictive algorithm was highlighting two stocks that are related to Bitcoin, as you mentioned, Wolf and also BITF. And we see here Google, as mentioned in the short-term forecast. We see Google for a while now in the daily predictions that the algorithm is generating. Long before the news that we heard over the weekend.
Yeah, and this forecast was generated, of course, on the August 10th, a while ago. And we can see that we have stocks such as Google, such as Wolf, and BITF that perform really well in this time frame.
Just to remind you guys what Ben just said, the range is between -1 to 1. So if we see 0.7, as we saw in the example, or 0.69, it means that we have stock with high predictability. And when the confidence level is higher, then of course it's giving us, let's say, a safer selection than stock with low predictability.
Exactly. We'll try to focus on the high predictability and the high signals for getting better and better results. And also, if you're trading for a longer period of time, such as 1 year, we can see interesting example from November 11. The algorithm gave us the 10 stocks or assets that we should hold for the next year, and look at this average, 84% in 1 year is crazy. And we can see stocks such as Palantir, Coinbase, of course, and Robinhood that jumped significantly in the last year. So is SoFi, SoFi that jumped almost by 140%. Oracle and many others that made some significant return in the past year. And some of you who would like to trade, for a longer time frames and don't wanna, check the portfolio every month or every quarter, they can also use the 1 year forecast. Just buy the best asset and hold them for 1 year, and the results, I think, is quite remarkable.
Right, and even if you're trading for shorter time frame than 1 year, I do encourage you, we do encouraging you to go over the 1 year forecast, because when you see prediction with such a high predictability as we see here, for example, Plantier 0.8, remember the range is -1 to 1. So the predictability is so high, then the confidence level is pretty high. Another thing that is interesting in this forecast, the top 3 stocks here, when we were generating this forecast, Plantier, Coinbase, and Hood were not they were not S&P 500 stocks, and now 1 year forward, all those 3 stocks are part of the S&P, and actually SoFi that you mentioned and CVNA are candidates to be part of the S&P in the next S&P 500 rebalancing. So it's quite interesting that the AI chose 3 stocks in the top 3 places that are now part of the S&P 500 actually. 1 year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And let's see some examples from different packages that we offer you in this webinar. And we're gonna start with the tech stocks. I think we've seen the tech sector is leading, one of the leading sectors in the following year. And we can see that the algorithm can pick the best stocks out of this sector. If it's Shopify, Palantir, LRCX, or Microtechnology, all of them are in this forecast of the technology 3-month stocks. We can also see in the 1 year, if we are focusing just on technology stock, we can find stocks such as TWLO, Shopify, AMST that jumped by almost 150%, and many others. And even if we look in the last Friday, our clients that has the technology package, when they opened the forecast on Friday, they of course saw these 2 lines filled. We're just giving you an example, a real example. This is the forecast itself from Friday, and I gave you just the first 5 first stocks, and we can see that the returns here was positive with the FICO, MU, Nvidia, Cisco, and it all moved up, while the ones that were located on the bottom, GLW, FFIV, and ZBRA, actually were negative on Friday trading day. So this is just a 7 days forecast. It's not 1 day, but just that just happened in the first day, and it's really interesting to see that the algorithm is actually located on the best stocks from the technology sector. And in the same way, we have an AI package. In this case, we have stocks that actually are from the AI universe. And we know that this really a big AI revolution that is happening right now. And we're seeing a lot of AI companies, and a lot of the big companies are involving AI in their daily work and daily productivity. So in this case, we can see 2 kind of forecasts. This is a short forecast for 3 days. All of the stocks here are related or using AI, and we can see the return to the right, and the same goes with the 1 year. We can see companies that are using AI and having some really good returns. So if you want to focus on AI stocks, of course, you can use the AI package and focus on those stocks only. Another interesting package that we can offer you today is the Buzz package. The Buzz package is actually focusing on the stocks that are being mentioned many times in the social media or the digital media. Stocks such as SoFi, such as Oracle, Tesla, even the gold and silver we added to this specific package. We can see the list of stocks that are in this package. We have the Magnificent Seven here. We have Nike, we have Pfizer, we have Oracle, we have JP Morgan. Walt Disney, Visa, Palantir, and even a Bitcoin forecast. All this is in our Buzz package. All the package that everybody talks about, all the stocks that you hear in the news are gathered to one package, the Buzz package, and we can see some excellent examples from the last few days. Although it was volatile in the market, we can see that this package can bring us some really good opportunities, such as a firm such as VXTX, DraftKings, and many others, Palantir, Coin, MSTR, CVNA, and a lot of interesting and trending stock that everybody talks about in the coffee break. So the Buzz package, a really interesting package, did really good performance this year, and I think it will do through the rest of the year. And another interesting package that I really like is the ETF package. In this package, you get two big advantages. One is diversify your portfolio because when you buy a ETF, you buy a group of stock, more than 60 or 70 stock in each ETF, and that's actually lower your risk in the portfolio. Instead of holding one specific stock, you're getting a variety of stocks, around 60 or 70 stocks. So that lowers the risk level in your portfolio. The second advantage that this package offers you is diversification in geographical diversification, which means, as you can see in the forecast to the left, in the beginning of the year, through March 2025, the majority of the ETF that the algorithm actually advised us to buy were actually belong to the European Stock Exchange. We can see here EWP, for example, which is Spain. We can see Germany, EWG. We can see DWX. We can see FEZ, which is the Euro Stock 50, EWL, which is Switzerland, and EWI, which is Italy. So although this package focused on the US ETFs, the ones that the algorithm gave us was European ETF. And the reason for that, you can see here in the bottom, the market, the S&P market went down, the US market went down, while this package made 2.45% in a 3 days time frame. And that was really good to our hedge funds, by the way, that are using this forecast on a daily basis to monitor more in a global way the best opportunities in the markets. And of course, this package also focused on the best sector in the US. As we can see here in the August 10th, we can see the semiconductor stock is leading this forecast. We can see the QQQ, XLK, VGT, and many others. A lot of focus on the tech universe. So ETF package, I highly recommend to add to every portfolio because it has a lot of advantages. And the next interesting and a really unique package that we offer you. By the way, those packages appearing only on this webinar sales, you cannot get those packages on the website. So I'm going to tell you about our webinar sales in a few minutes. But this is a kind of a special package that we have. It's Trump package. In this package, we are focusing on the best or the leading sectors from Trump doctrine. The stocks that or the sector that is supporting that or can benefit from his being the president, such as the aerospace and defense sector. After he's investing trillions of dollars in aerospace and defense in the US, we can see of course the energy company. So we have the XLE sector inside and the company that belongs to this sector. We have crypto stocks, for example, Mara, Riot, and many others that actually mining crypto. Trump itself, of course, holding cryptocurrency in a value of more than $900 million. AI stocks, the package that we saw earlier, is also included in this package. Technology stock, and of course some Israeli stocks. So Trump package give you all of these stocks, all of these universes together. The algorithms scan on a daily basis the best opportunities from those sectors and giving it to you on a daily basis to your email for 6 different time frames. And we can see some examples from the recent weeks. Stocks such as BITF that we talked about earlier, TSM, Wolf, NVIDIA. We have a really nice mixture of stocks here. And in the longer time frames, we can see again PH, NET, and many other stocks that comes from different universe that belongs to the Trump package. And if you had this package on Friday, and you will open it before the trading starts, you will see NVIDIA and TDG is soaring up in this 1 month, by the way, prediction. And in the bottom, you could find CLSK that went down by 8.5%. This is after 1 day of trading. Of course, this is a 1 month prediction. So even that, if you long NVIDIA and short CLSK, you already made like 10% a day. And to some of the investors, even a 1 month return. So 10% is interesting and satisfying. But again, this forecast is for 1 month. If you don't know what you want to focus on, you can give the algorithm to select the best opportunities from the entire US market in the top 10 package. And additional to that, you will get a forecast on the S&P 500 index itself. So you're getting the best 10 opportunities from the entire US market, which includes the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Russell, and also a forecast for the S&P 500 index. That's in our top 10 package, which is really popular, and you can see a variety of stocks that coming from this universe. You get a lot of opportunities in this package, especially in the shorter time frames. So if you like to trade on a daily basis or a few weeks and get a lot of opportunities, this is the package for you. The top 10 is one of our popular package. All right, so I want to give you an example what would happen in our last webinar that occurred on the 19th of October. I want to show you like a real example of how the forecast is actually looks like if I would signing in after the webinar and I would open the forecast. I would get those, of course, 6 time frames that I see here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. We have the 3 days, 7 days, and 14 days. We can see the green cells, red cells, and this is the date of this forecast. And I want to focus on the 1 month time frame because it's almost 1 month. The 1 month passed from our last webinar. And if I would just buy those 5 first stocks without any other tools, I would not choose predictability, just taking the best signals and see what would be the return. I would give you, of course, this. I would perform those returns that we see here. We can see Hamat with 0.5%. We can see American Express with 3%. We can see STX with 14.5%. We can see PH with 13.4% and GE with 1.5%. And this month, I'll remind you, was quite volatile, especially the last few days. And this is a remarkable return just by focusing on the best stocks to long, or just the 5 first stocks to long. And it's that easy. You just open the forecast, you focus on the time frame, you get the stocks that you want to focus on, and the algorithm does the job for you. So this is like a short example. How can you use the forecast without any other tools, just focusing on the five stocks of the best predictability? Of course, we advise you to focus on the best predictability stocks and just buy it for a period of 1 month or 3 months or even 1 year and hold the stocks. So that was a short example of how to use the forecast. All right. I want to talk about the health sector, because if we were checking from all the 11 main sectors in the US, we are seeing, of course, you would guess that the technology sector would do good. The communications sector did good from the beginning of the year. We can see the year-to-date performance. We can find the healthcare around 5% here if we're measuring it from the beginning of 2025. But if we would focus on the last 3 months, we would see a new trend that the healthcare, sorry, is actually the leading sector, and by far from all the other sectors that we see in the past 3 months. It's actually past the technology, past the communication, and something is happening here underneath the radar. Of course, if we'll check it, even if the last few weeks, this is a map of the entire 11 sectors, and we can see that the majority of the green stocks here are from the healthcare universe, and especially the biotechnology, which really outperformed the market. Another thing that we can see that is more green than another sector, is the oil and gas and the energy sector, which also look really interesting in the last few days and the last few weeks. So the algorithm can help you find the best stocks out of those investment universe. So if we're looking at the biotech package, we can see some stocks that the algorithm marked as a really interesting stock. For example, ELAN, which moved almost in 30%, TARS with a jump of almost 50%, and that's in the last 3 months. So if you want to get the best out of this universe, you can just take the biotech package and check what's the best stocks that the algorithm is actually providing us on the different time frames. In the same matter of the 1 month, we can find stocks such as APLT with 84%, PRAX with 283%, and IMVT with almost 55%. The average of this forecast in a 1 month is 46%, while the S&P moved by 2.7%. This is focusing on the best sector and the best stocks from the US market, and the algorithm gives you and helps you to focus on those assets. So this is, of course, the biotech package. And if you had it on Friday again, you would see those 5 stocks that actually jumped pretty, and I remind you, Friday was really volatile day, and ending the trading with those returns is remarkable. We have NATR, Natural Sunshine, that actually do herbal nutrition with a strong signal, jumped by 2%. APVO with actually the second best signal, but we can see that that was moved negative in that day, minus 2.7%. HBIO, Harvard Bioscience, by the way, a company that exists more than 120 years, jumped by almost
Really?
more than, yeah, it's an old company.
Oh,
It
surprising.
jumped by 13%, and the RIGL also with 5%. Basically, 4 out of the 5 stocks By the way, this is a 7 days forecast, so APVO, it's not the end of it, but 4 out of the 5 stocks jumped just in the first day. And even more impressive, if we scroll down to the negative forecast, the negative returns here, the red ones, we can find STXX and ZYXI that moved down by 27% after having just look at that. That is the strongest signal from the entire forecast, a negative signal, of course, with minus 65%. And we see that the stock actually moved accordingly to the forecast and went down by 27%. So ETF can help you find the best sector, and the package itself, the individual package can give you the best stock to long and to short in every market, in the going up market, going down market. You can use, of course, the algorithm.
So just to add, as Ben mentioned, just to clarify, we are utilizing one package in order to identify the best, basically, sector, right? And we are going to do it also in this webinar. We're going to share the updated ETF forecast in order to show you why we love the biotech so much right now. And then we are creating a drill down in our preferred sector. So we are drilling down into the biotech, and we are identifying the best opportunities from the biotech sector. Yeah, as Ben shared with you, we shared like a live forecast from Friday, just to illustrate how this package is basically delivering very interesting performance.
Yeah, also the energy sector that was looking interesting as we saw earlier. We can find some interesting opportunities here for 1 month and 3 months. And again, if you had this package on Friday, you would have those 5 stocks, leading stocks with the leading signals, and those was the returns of those stocks. And we have some interesting stock here, such as TRGP, Targa Resources. It's actually one of the biggest natural gas infrastructures in the US. We had DVN, Devon Energy, also a big mining company in the US. And they both went up by 2%. FANG jumped by 3.3%. EQT went down by 0.5%. As I mentioned, it's not like 100% always going to the right direction. 4 out of 5 is amazing for me. And again, this is a 14 days time frame. This is not just 1 day. What I'm showing you here is a 1-day trading. This is just 1 day. We have 2 more weeks, and a lot could happen in those 2 weeks. But just giving you examples of how to use the forecast and how to use the algorithm and this amazing technology to identify best opportunities in the market. So for this special webinar, we have for you 3 special sales. The first one, you can get 2 packages for $299 per month. No commitment. You can cancel it anytime. You can try 2 of any packages that you just saw in this webinar. You can combine the top 10 and the ETF. You can combine the S&P 500 stocks with the AI stock. You can combine the Trump package with the Buzz package. You can try 2 packages for $299 per month, no commitment. You can cancel it any month, and you can, of course, switch the packages on a monthly basis. So this is our first webinar deal. The second webinar deal for us, for you guys, is the AI-powered portfolio. If some of you haven't knew this product before, this is one of our most interesting services that we have. The AI is actually managing your portfolio. You don't have to do a lot, just every 4 weeks, you'll get the best 10 assets, and you just have to buy it on the closing price on that day and hold that 10 assets for a period of 4 weeks. You don't have any time frames, you don't have any signals of predictability. The algorithm picks the best stocks from each and every stock sector for you. For example, in this case, it would give you the best stocks out of the biotech, best stocks out of the sector, energy sector, best tech stock, and even ETF, as well as stocks, additionally to the stocks. So this is one of our leading products. The algorithm is actually managing your portfolio. And if we take a look from the beginning, when it was generated on the 2nd of April, up until now, we are standing on 29% return, while the S&P is around 18%. And again, every 4 weeks, you get the best 10 assets, you buy those assets and just hold them for the next 4 weeks. And we just had a rebound, so I think it's an amazing point to enter this portfolio. Tomorrow could be really interesting day at the market. I think this month is going to be interesting and positive, as we're going to see at the end of this webinar. So you can get this amazing AI powered portfolio for $330 per month, paid every 3 months. The AI powered portfolio is, you don't have to do a lot. It's just giving you the best assets to hold, best 10 assets to hold for a period of 4 weeks. And then every 4 weeks, you'll get other assets to buy and hold. And it actually does the job for you. And this product is amazing. And we can see a few examples from the recent month. If it was in April when the market went down, this portfolio made 3.44% by holding Palantir, TTWO, and Uber. And nice examples is from April when we did 6.2% in this month. And then by choosing ETF such as XAR that jumped 12%, or stocks such as ASML and COOP that made 10%. Or May, when we done 8%, and even June, while in this case, this portfolio has performed 11%, 11.6% by choosing 10 stocks and ETFs. And we can see that the ETFs, such as the home builders here with 11%, stocks such as AMSC with 26%, and even UPST that gave us 34%. This entire portfolio gives us 11.6%. Of course, it's in an equal weight. We're giving 10% weight to each and every asset. And that brings us to 28% from April, from the beginning of April, which is, I think, quite impressive. And again, you can get this product with $330 per month, paid every 3 months. And the last, and I think the most profitable and interesting webinar sales that we have for you guys is to combine the AI portfolio with one of the packages that you can choose from all the packages that we saw in this webinar. And you get this deal for $299 per month, paid every 12 months. You can enjoy the AI portfolio that is more of once a month buying product, to a daily package that is sent for you guys, and you can get opportunities on a daily basis. You have all the links for those webinar sales in the chat that you can purchase, and this all free webinar sales are available for the next 24 hours. So you have to do it quickly. And I think the AI-powered portfolio, joining it tomorrow in the start of the trading day would be, I think, really interesting for the next 4 weeks, and combine it with one of our packages that we saw so far, if it's the top 10, if it's the S&P 500, if it's the biotech or ETF, you can combine it and make some really interesting combination of a one month portfolio and a daily forecast that brings you the best opportunities from the market.
Right. And just maybe to give you another perspective about those deals. For the first deal, I would suggest the first deal to active traders that looking for opportunities basically on a daily basis across different verticals or sectors in the market. You can choose, for instance, the biotech and combine it with the top 10, or to take the energy package with the S&P package or the AI package. You can mix and match any combination that we have, and you have some unique packages, such the BAS package or the AI package or Trump package that are not listed in our website and are listed only in deal number 1. So if you are active trader that want opportunities every day, this is the deal for you. If you would like to build let's say monthly portfolio every month and to get just the bottom line, 10 stocks equally weighted that you should buy on a monthly basis, then deal number 2 is the deal for you. You're getting one update every month with the 10 positions that you should buy on the closing price on the very same day. The last rebalancing was, we did the last rebalancing last week, so it's still not too late to join to this package. Of course, as Ben mentioned, as you can see in this chart, it's not going only to the, in some cases, the market might be positive and the portfolio could be positive. In some cases, as we can see in the chart, the portfolio could deliver also negative returns. But in what we can see, the overall performance, and what's important here is to build the portfolio on a systematic, or to build the AI-powered portfolio with a systematic strategy that you, no matter what, every 4 weeks, you're exposing yourself to the market, to the opportunities that the AI is suggesting to you, and you're doing it every month without, second thought. You're doing that in a systematic way. Every month you're building a portfolio, and we can see the long-term portfolio of that, or performance of that. And the last deal number 3, is combining the 2 approaches. On one hand, you are receiving the daily opportunities that the AI is identifying for you on a daily basis in the very same way that we saw in the examples that Ben shared. And on top of that, you are receiving a monthly portfolio. Every 4 weeks, you are receiving a portfolio with the best opportunities for the upcoming month. So you can combine the 2 approaches with the basically the third deal. Okay, Ben, what is your? I see a lot of questions regarding the packages that we recommend. So what do you recommend for the upcoming month?
We in a while we're gonna see, of course, what the algorithm thinks about the next month, which sectors are the best for the next month. So stay tuned; it's gonna happen soon. But I think the biotech and the combination of biotech and AI powered portfolio right now can be really interesting. Biotech, as we've seen, looks the healthcare sector basically looks pretty interesting right now. Combine it with the AI powered portfolio, and it's I think it's a winning combination. What do you think?
I love the semiconductors. I think in the recent week, we have seen some correction in the market, and I see several opportunities across this specific industry. So semiconductors stock specifically could be interesting for the upcoming month. Of course, I would like to combine it with the AI portfolio. And as a second option, I also like to explore the top 10 opportunities, because not only it includes opportunities on a daily basis, but it also includes daily S&P 500 forecast, as you mentioned, and it could be very effective in this market as a second opinion regarding the market direction, basically.
I agree.
And talking about second opinion and the market direction, as we saw this week, sometimes the market might be volatile, sometimes the market might be negative. And here we can see several examples of cases when we had negative S&P 500 forecast. On the left side, we can see an example of forecast from 25th of February 2020. Back then, we started to see negative predictions for the S&P 500, and the strongest signals actually came from the bottom of this heat map. And we can see the performance of this prediction. If we assume equally weighted portfolio, we see the negative market that we have experienced back then, and also the performance of the stocks that appeared in the bottom of this heat map. But we don't need to go to the 2020. Actually, we have seen it also this year. In this example, we can see a 14-day forecast that was generated by the AI algorithm on the 27th of March 2025. Again, we can see the negative forecast for the S&P 500 index in the middle of the heat map, and we can see that the strongest signals came from the bottom of this heat map. And this is very important, not only if you're able to short, it's also providing you an important insight that you can utilize in order to manage your risk. If you see something like that, you can decide to move to cash instead of having exposure to the market in this specific time frame. And you know, once the S&P 500 forecast turn to the green territory again, you can get an exposure again to the market. So that's why I love the top 10 package, because this market intelligence component that can assist you to manage and manage not only your portfolio, but also your risk, basically.
Yeah, and we also saw it again in 2000, of course, in this year, in February, the end of February, we saw some negative indicators for the market in the shorter time frames, such as red index values, or we saw the VXN, the Nasdaq volatility index in the top of the table, which suggests the high volatility is coming. And of course, in the longer time frames, we saw the S&P and the Nasdaq is negative. That helped us to understand that we are coming through a volatile period. But again, don't get too, I think, scared or afraid from volatile times. You're getting stocks with discounts. Think about it as that. Some of the stocks are some stocks that you want to buy are now in more interesting prices. So the market that is going down is part of the trader life, investor life, and it happens. So accept it and try to be cool about it. And we can also see an example from the 2nd of April when we saw a volatility that is coming and we saw it throughout all the forecasts. You can see it here, a 7 days forecast for indices forecast that we have, and the market went down by 13%. And that's again helping us in the market intelligence look that we have on the market, helping us moving throughout positions and helping the hedge funds and other institutional clients that we work with. So this is a short example of identifying drops or a volatile market as we saw in 2025. Another thing that I want to talk about before we're going to get to the monthly forecast is our artificial intelligence trading strategies. We're actually, based on the forecast that we saw, we built an automatic strategy that once a month, the algorithm gives us the best stocks to hold for a period of 4 weeks. It's kind of what we did in the AI portfolio. This is more sophisticated for institutional clients strategy. We are using the Max 7 and stocks from the S&P 500 only. We are focusing on the most predictable stocks, and we are using 2 ETF, the SPY and the S&P 100, the OEF, the 2 ETF that follow the S&P 500 or the S&P 100 in this case. And we can see that the performance of this strategy from the beginning of 2020 in the past 6 years is around 1,200%, while the S&P did 106%. And this by focusing on long or short every 4 weeks, picking the best 11 assets. And if we go with year by year, you would see the performance is outstanding, outperforming the S&P each and every year. We can see that the drawdowns is also quite reasonable and moving around the S&P 500 drawdowns. The risk measurements are good, Sharp and Stolatino. And we can see the outperformance that this strategy have on the S&P just by picking 11 stocks. You can check the graph, the charts from 2020 up until 2025, sorry. And we can see that in the majority of the time, we are above the S&P. We are the blue line. The S&P 500 is the orange line. And also in 2025, outperforming the market significantly. And that helped us to get those returns. And we can give you a short examples of the portfolio from the last few months. If it's the August rebalance that we had, we can see focusing on the best Magnificent 7 stocks. The algorithm choose Google, Apple, and 5 more stocks from the S&P 500. In September, we were focusing on NVIDIA and Tesla that performed really well. And in October, we actually focused on NVIDIA. We can see the weight that the algorithm gives to each and every stock. And in this month, NVIDIA was the leading one, while almost 30% of the portfolio was focusing on that stocks on NVIDIA, which performed 10%. Of course, the other stocks performed pretty good as well. So this interesting Magnificent 7 strategy is actually available for our institutional clients. We also have a Magnificent 7 forecast, by the way, for private clients, if you're interested, just to see what's the forecast on those stocks. So reach us and we'll provide you the Magnificent 7 forecast. And if some of you are interested in our special strategies, we have many strategies for different market situations. You can approach us by the mail that you see on your screen or via our website. Feel free, of course, to do so.
So yeah, my 2 cents about those strategies. In the previous webinars, we shared the combined strategy that focusing on the best sectors on a monthly basis. For instance, the combined strategy is exposing itself to the healthcare sector, the XLV for the second month already. But here it's a new strategy that instead of focusing on the best sectors with very very low risk, here we are doing that with the Magnificent Seven stocks, as Ben mentioned, picking the best part of the Magnificent Seven on a monthly basis. Of course, the risk here is higher, as we can see, but also the performance. And this is a separate institutional strategy that we added to our toolbox in parallel to the sectorial strategy that is doing the very same way with a lower risk. So here we are picking the best Magnificent Seven stocks on a monthly basis, and the performance speaks to itself, I think, and also the recent portfolios. This is about this systematic trading strategy.
Yep, and we have a variety of packages, as you've seen. We're gonna go through some of them really quickly before we're gonna see the forecast for the next month. We have the Robinhood package. We have the tech package that we talked about. We have the crypto package that actually holds more than 75 cryptocurrencies. We have 3 different crypto packages for you guys that are following the major cryptos and even other kind of cryptos such as Solana, such as the Ethereum, Bitcoin, of course, Dogecoin, many more. We have the world indices forecast package that you can follow about the more than 80 main indices around the globe. If it's the volatility indices, if it's the US indices, European, Asian, and many other indices. We have a commodity forecast that includes the gold and silver forecast, natural gas, and even oil. All that in our commodity forecast, and such as currency forecast as well. More than 75 currency from different places around the globe. If it's the Japanese yen, the US dollar, or other currencies, we have this forecast as well. Energy that we talked about, European stock that is looking interesting right now, and many others, the region around the globe, if it's the Canadian or India Stock Exchange, in which we have a big collaboration with India, while we provide to more than 100,000 Indian investors a daily forecast for the Indian market. If it's a large cap, mid cap, or small cap stock for 6 time frames, it's embedded in their desktop and they're still in their mobile phones. And we are really proud of this 3 years collaboration that we have with the Finvazia and Shunya platform from the Indian market. So, drums, we're gonna get to see what the algorithm thinks about the next month. So this is the forecast from today for the next month, and we can see that the biotech and the semiconductors are one of the leading sectors that the algorithm actually suggests for the following month. Before that, we can see that the S&P and the Nasdaq are positive for the following month. The Nasdaq 100 is also positive. You can see the tech sector is located on the top of the forecast. We can see the energy sector is also pretty positive, while this predictability is not that high, but the signal is quite strong. And we are seeing actually a lot of energy indicators here, such as XLE, which is the energy sector, XTS, gas and oil search companies, XOP, which also related to the energy sector. We can see Japan, we can see European banks, the SX7E that we can find here. And of course, as said, the technology sector, XLK. And basically the map looks pretty green for the next month, and focusing on biotech, XLVs, the healthcare sector, EWs, that it's actually Brazil,
Yeah.
and that looks interesting this month. And the majority of the US indices are
Yeah.
looking quite positive.
Yeah, the selection is quite interesting because on one hand, we see the semiconductors, biotech, as you mentioned, and also the healthcare XLV. On the other hand, we see the energy and energy-related industries, such as XOP. And we see interesting regions. We see India, we see Japan, we see Europe, right? The banking sector specifically in Europe.
Yeah.
Actually, we see that those regions are even better than the US. But in the bottom line, the US forecast is positive for the upcoming month. We see positive forecast for the S&P 500 and also the Nasdaq. This is the updated AI forecast for the upcoming month. And we can see actually, the dominance
Also
of the semiconductors, even if, the semiconductor is still so strong that it's stronger than other regions and other sectors, right?
Yeah. Stocks is also contained, of course, the NVIDIA in a lot of the percentage here, which has a report in the next week. But we see also the Japanese market with topics and EWJ.
Right.
That looks interesting. Indian market, INDA. And right after that, we can see the American market. It's true. We can see some other markets that are right now is outperforming the S&P, but still the S&P is positive for the next month. And we can see the DAX, the German DAX, actually in the lower part of the table, mid-table. This table is cut to half, so you're seeing the positive side. But right now, this looks quite positive for the next month, and can create really good opportunities. We have some really volatile 2 last days. Some stocks are in the really good prices. So I think it would be also interesting to get the stock that are good prices, and the algorithm is actually suggesting them for different time frames. And all of that you can do by taking our 3 webinar sales. The first one is 1+1 in $299 per month, that you can combine any 2 packages that you saw in this webinar. The second
any two package that is not, of course, the AI portfolio. I see some questions in the Q&A. That's why I'm highlighting that. Any selection
from the daily packages, exactly.
From the daily packages, exactly.
Yeah, the second webinar sale is the AI portfolio package in $330 per month, paid every 3 months, and you get this amazing package that you don't have to deal with any time frames, predictability, or signals. You're just getting the best 10 stocks to hold for a period of 4 weeks, and holding it just for every 4 weeks, and getting a new 10 best asset after 4 weeks of holding. And you can combine the 2 packages together with our 12-month subscription deal for $299 per month. You can combine the AI portfolio with one of the packages that you can choose from what we saw in this webinar. I think it's an amazing webinar sale that we have for the next 24 hours only. So join our AI portfolio tomorrow, and choose one of the packages that you can get on a daily basis. I think it's one of the ideal combination that you can have.
Right.
And again, That's the reason, by the way, we chose stocks and biotech. Those are the leading sectors that we saw in the forecast. So I think those packages will be interesting in the next month. But again, you can choose whatever you like from the packages that we offered you.
Right. Let's answer some questions. Is the monthly forecast included in the package? No, the AI portfolio included in deal number 2 and deal number 3. Please check the chat window. Okay. I think we spoke about the US market in the upcoming month. The bottom line is positive. So this is what important. We spoke about the AI package that includes forecasts for stocks that related to artificial intelligence. So if you would like to focus on AI stocks, we do suggest to choose in deal number 1 or deal number 3 the AI package. Any other questions? There are questions about Meta. Actually, there is a specific package that providing daily forecast for Meta and all the magnificent stocks, and it's also available only on deal number 1 and deal number 3, right, Ben?
Yeah. We have a package that includes the Magnificent Seven and the main indices in the US. So you can combine also getting a forecast for the indices and choosing the best stocks out of the Magnificent Seven in the Magnificent Seven package. And that could be included in the webinar sale number 1 or 3. Yeah, I think it's an interesting time in the market right now. And as we saw in the forecast, it looks quite positive for the next month. I think we answered the majority of the questions.
Right, I think so as well. So guys, if you have an additional question that we didn't cover, please feel free to send us an email. And Ben, thank you for providing value today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Yaron, for staying with us the entire webinar. And we hope we give you a glimpse of the abilities of the algorithm. And we hope you'll try this great technology that's helping you to identify the best opportunities in the market and use the technology to actually making your portfolio better. So thank you guys for staying with us, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, see you next time. If you have any specific question, feel free to reach out and follow up by email by using the email that appears in the website. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much, guys.